Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to this episode of A Woman's Prerogative, where we provide high-class education for all our viewers. We also encourage followers to have access to free content that will help them in their journey on Earth. This episode is about the most pressing issues that women face today. So it's in collaboration with E360, and we are viewed, USA Global TV and Radio is viewed by over 106,000 viewers on YouTube, and I invite you to subscribe. We can be watched on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We are broadcasts in over 60 countries and in over 10,000 live stream shows. This show is co-hosted by myself and the wonderful Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, founder of this station and producer. She teaches elevated listening and is an Amazon best-selling author. She was awarded the Silver Creator YouTube Award in 2025 and is Ambassador for Peace. As for myself, I am Reverend Lydia FOUGERES, Master in Metaphysics, registered nurse, holistic nurse, speaker, elevated listener, and world-known author for my books, 111 Reflections for Thy Earth Odyssey. I am a spiritual teacher who works on personal transformation, introspection, mindfulness, and compassionate self-discovery. I invite my readers to engage in life through curiosity, clarity, and sense of sacred connection through my programs. You can contact me to register to my groups to achieve an exciting spiritual journey. I will let Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck introduce herself. You will be quite amazed. She is extraordinary, and I really care for her very much. So here is Dr. Kerbeck.
Hello, and thank you, Reverend. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it, especially this topic. And what I want to announce, something that I am really so excited about as a business owner, is that we are celebrating 4 years today as USA Global TV and Radio. We went from Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn and one radio show to broadcasting in 3 languages in over 60 countries. So thank you to you, Reverend, and to everyone who has been on this journey with us.
This is pretty amazing. That is 4 years. We still have pretty much everyone except some departures, very little departures, and we know that we will have additions to this wonderful family that we have together, because we are a family. We do not work together. We are a family. That is what is wonderful with USA Global TV and Radio.
Well, I am just excited because what we have built together collectively, everyone who has come through these doors, whether they're here or not, they played a role. And I just want to thank everyone. And thank you for allowing me to introduce myself. I have just a couple of quick announcements. I have a new book coming out, which I'm really excited about. It's called Stop Giving Away Your Value, Boundaries, Pricing, and the Business of Respect. And you know what, Reverend, I think today during our show, we'll discuss this because especially as women, we really do give away our value because we undervalue ourselves, or we have a place of fear that we come from, that people won't like us, or you and I as ambassadors for peace, we want to help everyone, but we can't help everyone without helping ourselves, and we have to set boundaries. So thank you for that. And let's get into the topic. I'm excited.
Yes, this is wonderful. I love the topic, actually. So
I do
that
too.
is it. So as as your experience, because we have talked about your experience when you became a doctor. When you became a doctor, you were working with only males, and you had trouble being recognized because you really worked your way up, but the respect was not there. So, would you please explain how things were happening for you, even if you won like everyone, you became a doctor like everyone else, you did not steal your title? So, the thing is that please let us know how you did that and how you lived through that.
Thank you. I absolutely will. I started my doctoral journey, I think in 2006, and I graduated in 2011. And at the time, I was working my full time career. I was traveling the world and selling loyalty programs. And long story short, my dream was to be Dr. Kerbeck. That was something that I always wanted to be. And so when I graduated as Dr. Kerbeck, I was told by the people in my organization that you're either a salesperson or you're an academic. You can't be both. And I tried to explain that with what it was we were doing, to have someone with a background as an academic, that added more credibility. But I was told, no, that's not the way that it's going to be. So when I first started this journey into media and I had a radio show, I started calling myself Dr. Jacalyn. And one of my mentors said, you need to trademark that, to register it. And so I finally got my dream, even though it took a completely different career, because I just wasn't being respected for what I had accomplished. And as you know, on your doctoral journey, it is a lot of money and it is a lot of time. And even today, I'm in a course at Wharton called the Chief Strategy Officer Program. It's hours and hours of work and research. And so I don't even get the respect today about that. What I get from people is, at your age of 62, why are you back in school? And meanwhile, I can't even tell you what I've learned just in the last 2 weeks of this program. It's really been life-changing.
Wow, that's so interesting. And the thing is that it's difficult to accept, actually, that we do all those efforts and people just minimize what we are doing because we are women. And the thing is that they say it is, well, we cannot mix this and that and corporate and sales. But the thing, if it had been a man, there's a good chance that he would have had his doctor manager license anytime. The thing is that, but being Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, saleswoman, was not for them because they were not doctors themselves. And we know that. And the thing is that, it is very difficult for men to acknowledge a woman that actually has a title that will differentiate her from the group. They know we have worked, we have earned it, but the thing is that they really have difficulty. Just you see, I am a reverend, and the thing is that when my spouse actually introduces me and he says my wife is a reverend, they say, "What?" So it is the answer that they give. People say, "What? She is a reverend?" So they are so surprised because I guess I do not look like a reverend. But the thing is that, Reverend actually looks like a man, it seems. They do not think it looks like a person like me. But the person actually that faces another one that went through all the schooling that we are doing, because I am doing also my doctorate. But the thing is that when we are with someone that actually saw us do all our schooling, instead of being proud of us, they just discard the title as if, oh yeah, they just had this journey where they just wanted to have a title. That is all. But they do not understand that for us, it is extremely important because we accomplished something that we wanted to accomplish since we were young. And they do not acknowledge all the hard work that we have put into our diplomas. So this is very difficult to do. So what do you think of that? That they do not acknowledge, no one, well, many people do not acknowledge us because we are women, and they think that we have worked less than a man, and we do not need all that scholarity.
You bring up some good points. And for me, I think it comes from either you're from a place of love or you're coming from a place of fear. And when you come from a place of love and you feel good about yourself, you want to acknowledge other people. You want to celebrate things that people are doing. And when things are going wrong, you want to be there for them. But when you're coming from a place of fear, my feelings are that you feel intimidated. Maybe you feel less than. You look at what someone else is doing and you're thinking, wow, I don't even have a high school degree and you have a doctorate, for example. So I think it has to be like a mirror where you look in the mirror and you are actually looking at yourself and your own insecurities, because why not celebrate accomplishments that people have? Which brings me to a question that you and I have not had a conversation about, but I've had conversations over the years with other people. What do you think of honorary doctorates or honorary degrees where someone is given this versus you and me who are paying and taking years of our life? And so I'm not going one way or another. I'm just putting out the facts, right? It costs a certain amount of money to get a doctorate. It takes a certain amount of time and discipline and structure and foregoing other things. What about honorary degrees?
I do think that honorary degrees depend on what kind of honorary degree they have. Something like arts, philosophy, things like that. You don't really need much to have that. So all you need is a background. But an honorary degree is not a degree that actually is valid as such. It is a degree just to have a title. That is all. A real degree, you have to work for it. But we have those that actually have honorary degrees, and they just do as if they do all the studies, but in fact it is that they did not do the achievement of all the work that we do. So I do not have anything against honorary degrees, because the background of a person, their career, everything is studies. So it depends on who gives the honorary degree. Like the actress Helen Mirren, she has an honorary degree in philosophy. And I am very happy she has it. And I think she deserves it because she's a very wise woman. But at the same time, she did not go to school all those years for the degree, but she worked a lifetime to earn it. So at the same time, I am for and I am against, because they are not real degrees, they are an achievement of your life. That is what they are.
I would agree with you. I don't know if you thought what my answer was going to be, but just in celebrating other people, if someone gets something, an honorary degree, and they feel happy about it and they accept it, I'm happy for them. There's enough room for all of us to have our accolades and our accomplishments. So I agree with you. And something that you and I talked about a little backstage is a statement that was made to me when I was in my corporate career, but it's been made other ways by other people. And I'd like your thoughts on it, which is you, meaning me, you are an inch deep and a mile wide in everything that you're doing. And you don't know what you're doing because you're doing so many things. And I remember having a debate with someone. I think this was actually during the beginning of the pandemic. And I said, no, I know exactly what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I want to learn as much as I can. I'm a very curious person. I like to learn new things. I've had a lot of side hustles during my career because I'm interested in trying new things. I was a makeup artist on the side for years. What are your thoughts about that? Because I don't know that someone would say that to a man, but I've been said the same statement or something similar by many men in my life, that inch wide and a mile deep, meaning that I'm not really doing anything. I'm just scattered.
I understand because they tell me the same thing. Because the thing is that we are smart women. We are interested by many things, and we know we only have this life to live at this time. So we need all this time to do whatever we have to do. And as I was telling my grandson Liam, he says, Mommy, you're still in school. And I said to him, you know what? I will be in school as long as I breathe. So I said, get used to it, because the thing is that your grandmother will never stop learning. So get used to it. That is all. And I am scattered also, because the thing is that I have so many interests. I do jewelry, I write books, I have this TV show, I have the French show, I have everything. And, I have a spouse also, and I am in 1,000 things. I'm in meditation. There is nothing that actually I am not touching. So the fact is that I love life. You love life. We love learning, and we have the brain for it. So let us do it. Why not?
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page with that. I agree. And something else that you and I talked about a little backstage is what I call the scoreboard, where even though as women we're successful because of the fact that we don't get the what's the validity, I would say, we kind of sometimes go back to common items that are on our own personal scoreboard. So for me, one item that I always go back to, no matter how accomplished I am, I always go back to I'm too heavy. And no matter what I would weigh, I would always be too heavy. I can look at pictures 10 years ago. I saw a picture of me when I was in Paris, and I remember exactly what I was thinking at that moment the picture was taken. And I was thinking, I was so heavy. I'm too heavy. And I was probably 110 pounds. But I always go back to that. And then that sort of brings me back to a very humble place, which is I'm not good enough. And it's difficult to overcome that. But I think my father used to say, you can never be too rich or too thin. And, I loved my dad, and may he rest in peace. I'm not bringing him out for that reason, but I think it's embedded in me that I could never be thin enough. So these accomplishments don't seem to matter because I'm still not the weight that I think I should be, which, by the way, I don't know what that would be.
Well, I am the same, but the thing is that that's the culture that is that way, because being thin at the time was was actually like a science. We all had to be thin. Do you not remember that we had to fit in those size 26 jeans? We actually had to. And do you remember when we had to take the hanger and tie the zip?
Yes, I do. Lie on the
That was
bed and pull the pants up and
We were fighting to get, now they're skinny jeans, they're stretchy, the whole thing. So we had to do things to actually look good all the time. And men liked thin women, but nowadays there is a change. There is a drastic change. Men are not attracted to thin women anymore. They are like you and I, we actually are not really the ideal weight because we are so small. That is that now we have these tall women and, they're athletic, the whole thing, and we are small and I am only 5'3". So the thing is that if I'm 5'3", my granddaughter is 5'8", and she is not finished growing up, and she's athletic and she's beautiful, and we both are small, but we think we're not thin enough because of what we were told, because we come from a time where Twiggy was so popular. That is the way it was.
Yeah, and more great points that you bring up. It's interesting. I shared this on one of my own shows, but I go to something called Solid Core. And so there's a portion of the 50 minutes that's focused on your core. And I will not show my core. I will wear a very long top, or I'll, tie it at the side. And there are these women in there who have several roles sometimes, and they're just letting it all hang out. And I say, you know what? That's amazing. Good for, like, I love and admire how confident they are. So I do think you're right that things are changing. And by the way, when we think about some of the most pressing issues, the way that we've seen Hollywood, for example, and it's still the same in a lot of ways, especially with these new weight loss drugs, we see the A-list celebrities going to different events. And you and I had talked about this before. I don't watch those events, but I see clips on Instagram and wherever, and they all look absolutely perfect. Everything is perfect. And then some of them will do a behind the scenes and show you how much work goes into them looking like that, how many people are waiting on them, and the dieting and fitness and what had to go on beforehand, and maybe some medical procedures. So it's not exactly as it looks. And that's what they get paid for. That's their livelihood, is what they look like. So I think that the pressure that has been facing women about the way they look could be changing. But what are your thoughts about all these weight loss drugs that also have side effects on people?
Well, they are dangerous. Many are very dangerous because they cause heart failures. They do not understand that, those drugs, you cannot stay eternally on those drugs. That is the problem. They really do not understand that, those drugs are dangerous. It is like people that take Red Bull. That is extremely dangerous. It is equivalent like something like 20 coffees in one can of Red Bull. It might give you wings, but I think the wings are just going to lead you to heaven if you take too many. So that is the way I see Red Bull. So you see, the people actually do not understand that, there is a certain logic to taking that medication, because first of all, they become dependent. They become dependent to the medication, and then they're addicted. They're not only addicted, but then they start eating again. So they're on the medication, they start eating again, then they go into depression, they go in all kinds of, and then they start having anorexia, the whole thing. So they develop actually mental issues, mental problems, because it does not work anymore. So at some point they have to stop, but actually they do not stop, and they still gain weight. So they're into some kind of dead end.
Well, it's interesting because I actually saw an interview that Oprah did, and she shared that she's been on one of these medications and she decided to go off of it. And if I remember correctly, I think she said she went off of it and gained 20 pounds and then had to go back on. So it's kind of like, when can we accept? And by the way, look at who's talking about this. When can we accept how we look? It just seems to be this endless cycle. And so it's nice to break the cycle, which is what I was talking about before, by stop giving away our value, right? Obviously, we're not just containers. We're not just the physical being. I mean, we have so much to offer intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally. So, something that I'd love to have us talk about as well, artificial intelligence, people are talking about it, people are using it. I personally use it quite frequently as almost like an assistant to do little things that I normally, you'd have to sub out or get someone to do. But in the job market, and I don't have any statistics on this, but obviously there's certain fields that have always been male dominated. And now we have the incoming of artificial intelligence. So I'm not sure exactly what that means if we as women jump headfirst into that field and get some training and some education so that we can incorporate it. But I've noticed that on LinkedIn, I had done a search at one point and there were over 6 million people listed as coaches, which I think now you and I could both say we're coaches, but I don't even like using that term anymore because it just seems like I don't even know what it stands for actually anymore. But what do you see in the job market if we see a saturation of coaches who are primarily women, and now we have artificial intelligence coming in and people are saying, why would you take more education? Why would you take more classes? I don't know. Where do we go?
Well, the thing is that everyone is a life coach now. So if you don't have a life coach, you don't have a life. So I do not have a life coach, to be honest. I never had a life coach. My brother is a life coach. He has been a life coach for 20 years. But the thing is that it is because it is like they started talking about people that are narcissists. Okay, that was everyone became narcissists. Now everyone is a life coach, and then everyone will be this and everyone will be that. This is go with the flow. That is the way it is. So they have a title, and then everyone else takes the title. So it is about taking the award without actually doing the work. So life coaches do serious work. They really do serious work. They don't do weekend training or 1 week training. Life coaches are actually people that do serious business. So if someone says they are a life coach, actually, they really have to be a life coach. They have to have the training. And being a life coach takes at least 2 years to be a good life coach. And the thing is that you and I, we have helped people around the world. We have we have what we call is experience. We do have experience, but we never tell people what to do. We actually listen and give them feedback on what they are thinking. They take their own decisions. So that is a good life coach. A good life coach will not tell you what to do. A good life coach will actually listen to you and actually help you validate your own decision. That is the way it works.
Absolutely. And I in 2019 got my certification as a holistic life, career, and executive coach. And so what I have done is I do one-on-one coaching, I do group coaching, but I've also transitioned into another area which I call private advisory, which is a completely different set of support. And to your point, as coaches, we don't give advice. We ask powerful questions to get people to think and get them to come up with their own answer. And I think what actually stops this from happening or blocks it from happening is people keep talking. And if you keep talking, you ask a question and then you don't give the person a chance to actually think about it, people get uncomfortable in that silence. So you ask a powerful question, and then instead of giving person time to think, you just keep talking instead of just being quiet and listening.
Yes, you're right. Because the thing is that when we work in psychiatry, that's what we do. We do actually. When we walk into a room and we want a client to talk, what we do is that we introduce ourselves. We have to be patient to start with. We introduce ourselves and I know that is my way of doing it. Does not mean all nurses are doing it that way. But what I do is that I introduce myself and I say, I will be there if you want to talk to me. And I sit at the end of the bed because usually in psychiatry they have no chairs because of the dangers. So you sit at the end of the bed and you wait. And there starts the waiting game. You do not say a word. You do not look at them. You just wait. And as the game is, the first one to talk loses. So the thing is that you are not supposed to talk. You are supposed to listen, no matter if they take 45 minutes to say one word. You do not say a word. You wait. That is the waiting game, but that is the way to reach them to their full potential. It has to come from them.
Absolutely. And if we think of the title of our episode today, which is the most pressing issues that women face today, I think whatever it is that someone's facing, I mean, we know as peace ambassadors, I've heard stories. I just heard a story recently where one person who's living in a different part of the world cannot go anywhere without having security accompany them, because it's really like a fourth world country is the way she described it, as opposed to third world. People who every day have to worry whether or not they're going to be killed on the way to school or work or wherever they're going. So there are people who are really facing serious issues every day. And I think regardless of what it is that you're facing, sometimes we just need to be quiet. We just need to process things instead of jumping into the fire, so to speak. And you and I were talking a little bit about this, that there's so much hatred going on in the world. I can't speak for every country, but especially in the United States. And I see things being posted all the time by people I know even. And the posts, they're either forwarding something, they're liking and commenting it. Why continue the hatred? If you see something and maybe it resonates with you, you're aligned with it, you don't have to acknowledge it. You don't have to keep the controversy going, is the way that I look at it, because it's not going to help anything. So what I suggest is that we try to find our own inner peace so that we can be of service, so that we can help other people, maybe volunteer, maybe mentor. There's so many things that we can do, but to spend all of our time being part of the problem, really, it doesn't help anything, and it's not good for our health.
Yes, you are right. It is not good for our health, but there is one thing. We have to we have to be part of telling what is going on, because here in Canada we have a different way of living. We do not have protests, we do not have those things. We do not live such fear. We are living calmly. And we are afraid for Americans. We are really afraid. I have a sister in the United States. That scares me. That scares me a lot, because the thing is that I am always scared that something will happen to my sister. This is when we see what goes on, when we see, like you said, when you see all the violence that goes on, we are scared. We do not understand how it got there. because United States was such a wonderful country before. It was amazing. United States, I used to go to the United States all the time, but now the world is in a state of fear of going to the United States. So this is very difficult for the rest of the world because United States stood for something else. United States used to be the land of the free, and it does not resonate anymore like that. And us, from the rest of the world, we would like to help Americans because we love them. We really do sincerely love them. So we know that some are into very difficult situations, very difficult towns, and are facing horrible things. And we wonder, what can I do to make a difference, to help at least, to pass a message that we cannot just stay and just look at what is going on in the United States and not try to save them because they are our neighbors, they are our friends, they are our family. Because Canada has not changed toward the United States. We still think neighbors, friends, family. That is the way we see things.
Well, Reverend Lydia, we are running out of time, as you know, but what I would share with that is that we can either come from a place of, you keep talking about fear, right? So we can come from a place of fear or we can come from a place of love. And so I do believe that everything is preordained. And I know myself just traveling outside the United States that I was afraid when I was outside the country. So we could be afraid wherever it is that we are, but where we have to feel safe is inside of us. And so we have to feel safe and have that inner peace, because without inner peace, we are just going to be part of the problem. And I think what it comes down to is the same thing we've talked about so many times on this show or other shows, is that people have to be able to communicate. When the communication breaks down, that's when things go awry. When people can't sit across the table from one another and listen without judgment to what people have to say, we're not going to be able to resolve anything. So they're just my opinions. And I try to stay out of politics. I don't like to get involved with politics, but I really want inner peace for everyone. And I think it's a choice that we can make. We can be peaceful, or we can show up angry and violent. And I don't see that working out too well, but that's just my opinion.
Well, it's a good opinion. It is a very good opinion. I know that I go with humor also. I deal with humor. So the thing is that sometimes it has to be humorous because there is no way. We have to have humor about the whole thing. So, well, thank you very much. And that was a really nice show. And I hope that next week it will be another good show also, like usual. And we had a very good time. So you can join me at 1514-582-6882 as country manager for Canada and French countries. You can join me if you want to be part of USA Global TV and radio. So I wish you goodbye and nice to have had you see us this week. Namaste.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void? leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the listening mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacalyn.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.